Guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so here we are, the evening before, or at least in the UK, it's potentially still the afternoon for you when this video first goes up, but the night before, the day before, the evening of, whatever it may be, the release of LR, Vegeta and Trunks. They're finally coming to global, the Tanabata LR from JP that released towards the end of June. So obviously this unit has been out on JP for over 5 months now. In fact, June, yeah, like 6 months. Been a while. So when this unit first came out on JP, it was pretty much considered hands down the best unit in the game. Obviously, as always happens with Global, especially with these units that take a bit longer to finally come around, there are already units in the game that people will argue are on the same level, or if not potentially better than this unit now, which can be seen as one of the downsides of playing Global, right? People get super hyped about a new unit coming out being the best unit in the game, and then by the time it actually drops on Global for Global players, especially those who follow the community and other YouTubers that actually do, you know, units from JP, chances are when a unit comes out on Global, you've already seen like videos and stuff of the new unit that's just come out on JP that is potentially better. But unfortunately, that is something that we're just always going to have to deal with on Global until they eventually decide to sync the versions. But that's a whole other topic that we don't need to go into for today. So, Power of Pride and Hope, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta and Super Saiyan Trunks Future. They are the Bond of Parent and Child or Future Saga category leads for 3 key and 170, and then 30% extra to characters that belong to the Battle of Fate category. So they have a pretty good 200% lead in general, but they're 170 because one of their leads is Bond of Parent and Child. This includes most Gokus, most Vegetas, most Trunkses, most Gohans. Like, there are so many units on this team that obviously it's very, very versatile when it comes to team building. So that is definitely one of the strengths of this unit. The other main strength of this unit is that they are a defensive juggernaut. They're a slot 1 unit. They came out at a time in the meta when Dokkan had released a lot of slot 2 units, as we would call them. Like, a lot of units who are decent defensively or can hold their own in the harder content defensively, but only after they've super attacked. And so these guys coming out was a nice breath of fresh air, because regardless of the team build that you have for them, they get their entrance animation if you have Bond of Parent and Child ally attacking in the same turn at the start of their turn. But regardless of all the buffs they get from their entrance animation, they get 70% attack and defense and guaranteed guard if you have them in slot 1. So regardless of the team build, these guys are going to be a slot 1 unit. If you're running the double leads of them just to run their team, then that's both your slot 1 units on your rotation sorted. So these units obviously have been battle tested on JP throughout all the difficult content that's been coming out through the year, and they still hold up as being one of the best units in the game. So obviously the point of this video, as I always do before banners come out, is to talk about summoning or skipping on this banner based on not only the banner itself, but also the stuff that is coming out all around it. Now, this is the first time for quite a long time, I think, that we've had the banner come out so quickly, because Heroes dropped a few days earlier than it did last year, only by like 2 or 3, so still around the same time. But last year, for both the last year's release of the Dokkan Fest, I've already forgotten which one it was. Was it Kale and Caulifla? And then the year before, which was where the Tanabata LR did come out in this time slot, which was Tech Gogeta. They both came out on the 4th of December. So here we are a week earlier than that. And of course, less than a full week since the Heroes banner dropped, this banner is now coming out. So obviously people who spent a ton of stones on Heroes, you're probably not going to have that many stones left over. Obviously there will be a new like suite of sales coming in, but for free-to-play players, not really a lot of time to recharge your stones before this banner comes out. So one of the things that we have to look at is we have to look at the value of the banner. So I've got the banner up here. I've showed it in previous videos. This is the banner as it appeared on JP. I'm in 2 minds. I was going to say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't change this at all. But then on the flip side, like, obviously it would be really good if they did at least make 1 or 2 changes, because this banner is not very good. Considering the current meta and the units that you want to be using on certain teams, obviously Trunks and Vegeta themselves are the prize. The AGL Goku Black is okay. The Tech LR Gogeta is on here, and obviously they can still be useful. That Scouter effect is still very, very powerful. The physical LR Blue Boys, a bit too outdated now, same with the Go Bros. And then we have Goten and Trunks, Tech Kale and Caulifla. Again, these two units, they're kind of outdated. You could probably get away with using them with type advantage against certain bosses in the red zone. But again, it would be there would be some RNG involved for sure. And then STR Kefla, Blue Koken Goku, and Int Goku Black are just very outdated Dokkan Fest now that are waiting for their EZA. So this banner doesn't really hold a huge amount of value. Obviously, the one thing you don't really want to be seeing is putting stones into this banner, getting a guaranteed featured animation, and then getting like STR Kefla or Int Goku Black, or even getting like a Vegito Blue fusion, which guarantees an LR, and then you're pulling like Gohan and Goten or the Blue Boys. Now, Gohan and Goten probably due for an EZA sometime within the next year, but obviously that doesn't help you if you pull a bunch of copies of them now. So the banner itself, not very good. However, we do know from the data download that there are going to be Dokkan Festival tickets. So if you are somebody who spends, that is an option. I know a lot of people on Global love to buy the tickets, try their luck with them, and then just potentially buy some of the sale stones and keep them saved for something in the future. So if you're someone who does spend money on the game, the tickets are obviously going to be a solid option. But if you want to wait, we do know from the producer letter that exactly 1 week later, so from whenever it is this banner comes out, at the time this video goes up, the banner should be coming out in like 11 hours, something like that. And I will be live streaming my summons, but 1 week later we then get this, which we refer to as the Tanabata banner, but on Global it gets advertised as like the Christmas banner. Although I think we saw from the producer layer it's called like the Starry Night Celebration banner or something. This banner will be coming out 1 week later. This has the Vegeta and Trunks and the Goku Black featured. It also has both of the 7-year LRs. Then it still has the other featured LRs from the previous banner, but it also has a bunch of other Dokkan Fest exclusives. So this banner, you could almost argue, even though it has the anniversary LRs on it, is even worse to summon on because it has so many featured units. Because was this 20 featured SSRs? So again, you don't want to be getting like a guaranteed featured animation and then you're getting this like Tech Merge Zamasu, for example. So this banner definitely a lot more dangerous to summon on. However, we do know from the producer letter that we are going to be receiving from login bonuses and missions 21 of these tons of thanks tickets over the course of the celebration. 7 of those gets you a multi on the banner. I don't think it's GSSR, so I don't think there's any reason to not just do singles, but we'll obviously have to wait until it's in the game to know that 100% because it will say on the banner and probably potentially on the ticket as well. I think it always says it on the banner. It should be in the news section. So I would hold off. If you get a couple of them, I would hold off until we know 100% whether they are guaranteed SSR for a multi. Because if they are, then obviously it's always much better value to save up so you're at least getting something guaranteed rather than just doing a bunch of single tickets and getting a bunch of SRs. But every year there's people that get lucky with these free tickets, so I know a lot of people are interested in just using the free tickets on this banner and they're not using any stones. But that's kind of where we sit with the two banners. This one's coming out in 11 hours, this one's coming out a week later. Both of them have the Goku Black on it, who he's a reasonable enough unit. Unfortunately, he's just one of these units that they seem to do fairly often recently, where they need to get hit to build up, but they don't have any defensive tech for the early turns. Like we saw with the EZA for LR Zamasu and Goku Black, that they have that guard for the first couple of turns, like that extra bit of defense while you get them hit to get them build up, which this Goku Black doesn't have. So if you go straight into a very difficult event like a red zone stage like Broly Omega that's difficult from stage 1, you know, he needs to be getting hit to get fully built up, but he's going to be taking damage on those early hits. Now, we saw when he came out, this is one of the first examples, I think, of when I really started to see the community on Twitter, like, massively underrating units before they actually came out in the game. Because when we saw this guy and we got his proper calcs and everything, he's honestly not that bad when he's fully built up. The problem is getting him there, right? And of course, he's the side banner unit, so he's going to go into every banner once this comes out anyway. The team that he really wants to be on is with other Goku Black and Zamasu units, which that team still isn't fully formed yet. We're getting those EZAs and like the new summonable LR, but we don't have like a 200% lead for them all or anything. So this guy definitely not like a must-have at the moment for sure. But the Vegeta and Trunks, definitely very, very good. And of course, finally, the one thing you have to think about is what is coming next. So I've seen a lot of rumblings about this, but because this banner has been brought up in the schedule, this usually comes out in like the middle of December, but it's now coming out on the 4th of December, which pretty much leaves the whole of the month completely clear. Now, obviously, we're expecting at some point to get the Part 2 LR for Vegeta and Trunks, which is, of course, the summonable Merge Zamasu. But that leaves the last part of the year pretty open, and a lot of people are speculating that whatever the JP Dual Dokkan Fest is going to be for the end of the year, that could be a same time celebration with Global. And obviously the big subject on everybody's mind that could be is more superhero stuff. And the producer letter did mention new content coming out in December. Obviously we've seen with the heroes, the superhero celebration parts that they've done so far, they've introduced new stuff, whether it just be the story event with the Farmable Gohan the first time around, and then the Cell Max event. So, you know, there are definitely hints that the end of the year could see summonable superhero units that are not the Gammas coming to both versions at the same time. Now, of course, none of that is confirmed, so if you're still trying to make up your mind, I'm not saying that that is definitely happening, so you should skip this and save for them, because we still don't know exactly what is going to happen. We got the news today on JP that the next Dokkan Fest is going to be Yamcha, which that will be up for like 2 weeks, and then potentially they'll either not get a Part 2 LR in that celebration, and then we will have this shared celebration. Or remember, I think it was 2 years ago, the Part 2 JP LR in December was the Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and then he came out as the double rate spanner on Global, so the LR came out on both versions at the same time. So we could see whatever is the potential Part 2 LR for JP coming out at the same time, and that could be whether or not the New Year's Dual Dokkan Fest is going to be same time, which if it is, whew, this like December is going to be a very, very busy month for different banners and such. So more so than any time in the game, you definitely have to be very careful and very smart about how you use your stones. So one thing I would say, if you do really want this unit, because their banner is so bad and is such a huge risk, this unit will return on Saiyan Day in March. Now obviously that is like 4 months from now. But they will return and be available with red coins. That banner should be pretty stacked because it's going to have, always has the previous Saiyan Day units on it, right? So that banner's going to have Majin Vegeta, it's going to have Int Broly, who will be starting to be a bit outdated, but not going to be super far away from getting an easy A, depending on whether we get a new Broly anytime soon. But they'll be available with red coins. I think it comes down to, as we see with a lot of these LR banners, whether they're Dokkan Fest or not. Because these guys are a Dokkan Fest LR for red coins. The banner itself is just not great, right? You could easily dump like a few hundred stones into this banner and not pull them. So you definitely have to be very careful and decide what you want to do. The tickets are there for paid players. The free tickets are going to be there for the banner that comes out in a week's time. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Obviously, this banner should still be up when this banner comes out. So obviously, you do still have some time to think. You don't have, it's not like you have to do all your summons on day one or never summon at all. So you have some time to plan out what you want to do. Obviously, a week or two from now, we might even have some more news or some more hints about what's going to come out later in December. So honestly, unless you're just desperate to summon for this unit because you really want them, which I know there are a lot of people in that boat, it probably is best to wait at least a little bit, right, before summoning. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Obviously, like I said, I will be summoning. I'll be streaming when the banner comes out. I got very lucky on JP. I really wanted this unit. I thought they were super cool when they first came out, and I did a little summon video. I think I pulled them in like 4 or 5 multis on JP, because my side JP account is just completely free to play. So I don't know if that's going to doom me for Global. Those of you that have been around the channel for a while, was it over 4,000 stones with no blue evolution, 2,000 stones to get Majin Vegeta, Int Vegeta units just seem to be cursed when it comes to me. So I guess we'll see how well we get on at the stream. Hopefully I will see you guys there. So let me know down below, what are your plans? Are you going to summon? Are you going to wait for next week's banner? Are you going to wait till we have a bit more of an idea what comes out later in the year? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.